everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this past week I've been working on the edits for my story One Big Mess, and these are the big edits, the final edits before publication. So I did receive my story back from my editor back in January, and I had wanted to work on it in January, but I really wasn't feeling all that well. And then February came, and February wasn't really a good month either. But towards the end of February and the beginning of this month, I have finally had some time to sit down and read through all of the notes from the editor and to really go line by line. And that's what I've been doing this week. So it's about 76,000 words, and my editor has gone through and done line edits, which basically consist of, first of all, yes, the grammar, any grammar mistakes, any typos, but also just making some of the sentences sound better. If I've used a word maybe too many times, a lot of repetition, or if the sentence can be said in a better way. So there's a lot of that, and it's been a very tedious process to go through the whole document. And there's so many changes that she suggested. But I have to say, all of these changes are going to make the story so much better. I know Natalia Lee has got a video about editing, and it seems like I remember her saying something about how editing just took her book to the next level, and I think that's right. It really has just taken my book to the next level. And the editor that I worked with, she also made some suggestions of things in the book that I think that are just going to make the story just a little bit better. So for backstory, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, One Big Mess is the book I'm going to be publishing sometime in spring. I haven't actually set the date for when I'm going to publish this book. I'm thinking I want to maybe publish it in May. I want to wait until all of my family has been vaccinated for COVID, and that we can get together again, because I know my brother-in-law wants to throw a book launch party for me. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and of course I want my family there, and so I think May is a good time to shoot for, because by May I should have all those edits done, and hopefully by then I will figure out the whole self-publishing process and how to upload my manuscript and all that good stuff. But for now, we're just concentrating on getting the editing done. So the first thing that I did when I was getting One Big Mess ready was, after I finished the first draft, I read through the story several times. I must have read it about 3 or 4 times. And also I had other people read it too. And I went through the whole document and I made changes. Every time I read the document, I made changes. I found mistakes that I had made, and I found things that I wanted to tweak a little bit. And I got that story as clean as I possibly could. And once I thought it was completely free of errors and I was pretty happy with the way it was, that's when I sent it off to the editor. Now, here's the interesting thing. As clean as I got that manuscript, as error-free as I could make it, I was not expecting for there to be so many mistakes in there. That actually kind of blew my mind. And it was little things too, things that I know. For example, in my story, I did this a lot. The word mom. If you're calling someone mom, by their name, if that's their name, you're calling them mom, you capitalize the M. I know that. And if you're just saying, my mom is a dental hygienist, then you don't capitalize it. I know this rule. I know this rule. In fact, it's actually one of my pet peeves when I see it in other people's writings. I totally know this rule. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe my autocorrect messed me up or something, or maybe my brain just was reading it wrong, but I messed up that mistake a lot. And it's really surprising because as many times as I read through that document, I was not expecting there to be that many errors that I missed. So that's why I really do think it is important, very important, to send your manuscript off to an editor. Now, I will admit, for a very brief time, I was considering editing the manuscript myself. I don't suggest that everyone do that because editing is a very, I don't know, it's like a very special skill. And I've generally been pretty good at like editing things. And, you know, people have sent stuff to me in the past and asked me to read through it, asked me to edit it. And I did it. And I'm one of those people who like picks out typos in a restaurant menu or something like that. And I also, just to help me become a better writer, I actually did take an editing course. It was just a free course through my library, but that was really helpful. And I also, in addition to all that, I had picked up several books from the library too about editing. So I like really researched this and learned some tricks about what editors look for, and I tried to learn how to make my own writing better. So after I did all that, I was thinking, you know, maybe I could do some editing, you know, maybe like not for anybody else, just for me. So I did actually for a while consider editing my own manuscript, but I reconsidered it because I just really thought that, you know, since this is my first novel, I don't really, you know what I'm doing. And I want to make this novel the best that I can. And also, I reminded myself, you know, even the famous authors, you know, Stephen King, he's got an editor, you know, James Patterson, he's got an editor. Like all of these famous authors, they have editors. So I'm like, you know, why try to do it myself? I wanted to make the book the best that I possibly could. So I sent it off to an editor, and I wanted to see how many like mistakes, like what kind of mistakes would she come back with that I made. And I saw like I really did miss a lot of things, even though I'd read through it so many times. So I really actually do think that it is totally worth it to find an editor. One of the things that was really hard about finding an editor is the cost, and it's not cheap. But I did find someone whose rates that I could afford, and she just did such a fantastic job. And I'm really excited about how my story is just going to be like so polished and so clean when I'm done with all of these edits that I have to do. So currently, this past week, I've been working on the edits. When I say working on the edits, this is what I've been doing. I've been going through all of her suggestions, and I've been correcting it in my manuscript. And I've also made notes of things, like if there was a section she maybe said, maybe I need to clarify this passage more, I kind of make a note on it. I'm going to go back to that later. But for now, I just wanted to go through it and just fix the little things, fix the mistakes. So now that I've done that, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the manuscript again, and all the comments that I made, all the things that I want to revisit, I'm going to go back through those again. I think that's not going to take as long as all the line editing that I had to go through, all the, you know, line by line things, that little suggestions that she made. And I didn't even know how I was going to get all of this done, because I mean, I've been needing to get it done since the end of January, and I just kind of been putting it off, or I didn't feel good. So what I've been doing is I did it in the morning because I'm more alert in the morning, and then I did a little bit at lunch, and then if I wasn't too tired in the evening, I did a little bit more in the evening. And then of course the weekends, I have a little bit more time to work on it. So I finally got like that first round of editing done, so still more work to go on it, but I really feel good about this story, and I am really glad that I sent this story off to an editor. I really do think that it's worth it. because I think the most important thing about your story, the two most important things, the editing and the book cover. So if you're going to spend like any money at all, I really think those are the most important things. Editing is so important because you want your story to be polished. And I think what happens is that when you read your story, you've read it so many times to yourself, it's like your brain like fills in like your brain makes the correction for you, but you still miss it. I do this a lot with words. I'll leave words out of sentences, but when I read the sentence, my brain like automatically puts that word in there, so I don't see the mistake. So it is very helpful for someone else to go behind you and maybe catch some of those errors that you made. Well, anyway, that's going to do it for me. I will have some more updates on One Big Mess in some future videos. And hopefully I can get the rest of these edits done soon. And I can go ahead and get started on all my launch plans. Because that's going to be huge. I've never launched a book before. I don't really even know exactly what goes into a launch. I'm just going to wing it, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.